I like that, bro.
What's up, brother?
What's up,
Going
man?
on with it? Dude.
Salud.
Well, yeah,
Buddy, just getting
yeah,
to it.
yeah.
Sound like I've been eating fucking Black and Mild wine tips for dinner every night, bro. Need a cough drop, need a lozenge.
They need some warm honey and some lemon juice, bro. You know,
Bro, killing me,
hold the
bro.
throat. Pause.
Fucking killing
Pause.
me. Pause.
What you got, brother? What's new?
I was looking at some of the shit on the sports, and
I like
I'm a
Luca.
big fan of Luca. Because your boy's out here just killing it, and I feel like he effortless. I don't know how to phrase it, but
Yeah,
he deserves respect. And went to the Lakers, and it poses a couple questions that I have. Just you see these teams spend, fucking hundreds of millions of dollars, whatever, over the cap, blah blah blah, and then they don't really produce. And you see these so-called dream teams formulate. And again, this is one game, but
yeah.
this is what makes me think. I think about this shit. And the reference being, I grew up in the '80s and '90s. I mean, maybe it was there, but I just don't remember all the hype about money. Wasn't, oh my God, this quarterback signed $400 million. Like, I just don't remember none of that shit. It felt like the teams back then were more geared and focused on winning. And you and I were talking about a little bit before, and you're like, does winning even fucking matter? And I'm like, maybe not as a business, but to the fans, I feel like it does.
To the fan, it does, but I think as a business, they don't necessarily have to win to make money. You just got to get your, right?
I
So like,
get that. Yeah.
so
It's like
teams like,
losing sight of it.
for example, like Cowboys, they're much like they're a brand
Yeah.
and a global brand and a very large brand, and they're in the big markets, so they don't necessarily have to win per se in order to generate money for the team.
Yeah.
But then they go like that's to be said, like, and put it this way: the question you pose is the reason why I prefer to watch college sports over professional sports because they have something to play. Well, even with the NIL stuff, but like they have something to play for. Like you have to win in order to continue to get the best. So winning propels the program forward continuously, and they have some pride in there. Like they'll like if you're not winning, clearly you're not one of the better players. You don't have one of the better programs. You're not going to be getting selected to go to the next level. So like it kind of winning matters. It kind of perpetuates itself as it has to. In the pros, you're already at the top level. So what else is there besides some guys are there because of the money, and some guys actually do care about winning, they care about legacy. I think it kind of just depends on what's important to you.
Yeah, and I don't want to sound like I'm hating. Listen, get your money, bro. I don't care personally. Like, make all the money. I don't care. I guess what I'm referring to as a fan, I don't really care about that either. Like, I don't need to see, oh, you just signed this dude for eight.
Yeah,
I don't give a shit about
yeah,
that. Like,
yeah.
and
So,
again, people hate on
did you sign him
uh,
because it's going to
what's
help us
that?
win, or you just sign him because yeah,
Yeah, I don't sell jerseys or something. I don't know, but whatever. But like LeBron, people shit on LeBron, but again, because he doesn't, he manages his time on the court, and I don't know, bro. I don't know how I feel about all that because it's like you want to see the star player. That's why people pay for the tickets, but also it's a long ass fucking season, bro.
he's
Like you don't want to get beat down. So
he's 40. He has to
I
manage his
get it.
body at this point.
But once again, I get it. Like I we understand. Like I don't. I don't have a strong enough opinion either way to really argue about it. I realize it, but imagine you fork over whatever 2, 3 grand, whatever.
Yeah,
How much fucking tickets are
probably
the
more than
Lakers? I
that.
don't even know. I'm out of touch, bro. But and then you go there and LeBron plays 2 minutes and then sits down. You're like, what?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
I don't know. Like I get it, but at the same time,
Yeah, I feel some kind of way about
what
that.
are
But
we
I
doing
I
here?
think that's also why they put injury reports out before games so people know. But so,
So you
yeah,
don't
with
go to
some
the
money.
game.
Like, if I'm going to a game, like if I'm down here and I go to a Magic game and they're playing the Lakers, I'm damn sure looking at that injury sheet. But oh, LeBron's not playing. I ain't going to this game. I'll catch him the next time.
That's about what we just said.
Mm-hmm.
As a fan, you got to buy the ticket. You're
Yeah.
invested in the game one way or the other. You got to drive down there. You got to park in that motherfucker or Uber or whatever. Again, it's all costs, and it's not about being cheap or whatever. But
Yes.
it is an event. Food, drinks, you paying $20, $30 a drink, especially if you're in the LA
Yeah.
side, it's probably $40 for a fucking beer. Do all this because you're just a big fan,
Mm-hmm.
you're excited, it's entertainment. And then the stars either don't play or play
Yeah.
2, 3 minutes and they out. But again, also in the scope of things, the season, the years, and all
Well, yeah.
that,
I
yeah,
mean,
that shit beats the
I
fuck out of you,
trust me.
bro.
I get it. I get both sides of it. You know, I get both sides of it as
Yeah,
not to subvert, but obviously we both played. You know, we both played in college, and so I'm used to. I never actually watched an actual game, a sporting event, especially football, until I was done playing. I was always on the
really?
field. Even through college, I was always on the field. So like my viewpoint of sporting events is completely different. And even at the job, bro, you know, I do the bump stuff. I have a completely different perspective on all major events, sporting events, concerts, whatever. Like I have the I don't want to say backstage, you know what I'm saying, but I have the behind the scenes view of a lot of these special, like a lot of these large events. And so going to them is like a completely different. I have a completely different vantage point. I'm like, I don't put it this way. I'm like, I don't even know if I'm gonna spend my money to go watch this because I usually am looking at it from a different side without having to pay. I'm just getting paid to be there, and I'm like, so I would be very upset if that was the scenario, and I actually paid the money to go, and you know, same with like a concert. You know what I mean? Like you go pay a concert. Hey, this next one will start at 8. And here it is 10:30 and we haven't started yet. Yo, what the or they don't come in or the cancel. I'm like, yo, I'd be livid. I'd be heated. So I think I get both sides, but I think if you want to continuously have a good product and continue to have people show up, you kind of push your stars to, you know, get in there, at least be there and make an appearance. You know, if you can't play, you're injured, bro, at least travel, show up, sign some autographs, get some stuff out, you know, let people see you because that's what they're there. They want to see you. And
Mm.
in person,
Yeah,
right?
I don't know. Just
I think I sent this to you, but imagine this. And I think with the social media thing, we probably won't ever see this again. But a guy was talking about us comparing Chris Brown to Michael Jackson. And the one guy's point was he's like Chris Brown's very talented, he can sing and do all that. It's like, but he'll never be on the level of Michael Jackson, right? Like people
yeah,
people fainted, almost died because they physically saw Michael Jackson. Like when he did that HBO thing in
yes.
Budapest, and I remember watching it as a kid, being like, these people are they're fainting, like at just the physical sight of seeing Michael Jackson, just couldn't take it. I'm like, I don't think we'll ever see that again. I think everything with the social, everything's so accessible, everything's so not necessarily within your touch, but everything's so visually accessible that we lose the shock and awe and the wow factor is gone from a lot of things, right? Because you're like, oh, I can just like, for example,
Yeah.
you know, LeBron doesn't show up. Like, oh, well, I've seen him on TV. I mean, I've never seen LeBron play live, but seen him play thousands of games, thousands of minutes. Like, you know, so it's not like we never saw him. But you know, but back in the day, well, if you didn't go to the game, you never saw your favorite person. Mm-hmm.
Something to be said for that, though.
Yeah, it's a
Something to be
different time.
said.
So I think, well, I think that's probably why you won't see as much. Uh, probably why you won't see as many stars, I guess, play injured or play hurt. Those that will take those breaks because even though you might not be able to see them in person, they're so accessible on TV, and this TV contract is so big that man, we didn't get to see them, but we've seen them on TV a million times. So it's not like a total waste, I guess. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Now, point, sir. Now, point.
But bro, I was some I was contemplating life as I do most days. I'm just in there, just just out in space and just taking in taking in the world. Pause. Um, but I want to give you a little toast, give you your flowers, bro. You're a good father, bro. Especially knowing the kids as well as I do, and how well adjusted they are, little human beings. Just to see them kind of like come into their own and see where they're at. It's it is a it is something to be said because I've seen so much of the opposite, and I see so many bad examples of fathers. I feel like, and think about my own relationship with my own pops, and what is that? Man, I think it's you would think that it's the bare minimum to be a good father, right? Or to have to be have that relationship, but it really isn't, bro. It's really not. And that's kind of what my thought was. I was like, hey, it's kind of strange to say like to have to like big that up or to have to like say that or feel the need to say that. I think kind of speaks to society. Or like, man, maybe our standards, as men or as fathers or husbands or whatever, are not as high. Or I don't think most men are take it as seriously. Just from what I see, maybe don't necessarily take that role very seriously. So, and obviously, we talk upside side of this, and we've had a lot of talks, and I know how serious you take it, and so I'm just like want to kind of just like dap you up a little bit and give you big you up a little bit because I'm like I can see that other people that don't have a situation where it's not happening, and I'm like it's sad to me, But I wanted to give you flowers while I was able to, so figure that out. Well,
I'll take it, bro. But I will also say, um, well, obviously, I love my kids. I'm proud of my kids. I think they've done well in spite of me and their mom. We both tried our best, but hindsight being what it is, I look back and I'm like, man, I fucked that up or I fucked this up. And I would also say that it's amazing when you are 100% focused on thinking that you're doing the right thing. And you're like, it's as clear to you as the fucking, the sky or the water, whatever. Like, this is the right thing. And you're grinding, you do anything, and then your kids look at you one day and be like, Dad, why would you do that? Well, because I'm doing this and this. He's like, yeah, but that's,
yeah,
you didn't have to do all that. Or like, I don't want to say changing the carrot, but like, you get caught up working, shit. I was going to say 40, 50, but it's really like 60, 80, 100 hours a week sometimes, depends on what you're doing. Because you're making money, because you're like, yo, I got to provide. I got to make sure they have clothes and food. And I want to make sure they live in a nice place. Or they go to a good school district. Like, these are all the external things that penetrate. And you're like, this is why I'm doing this. And you look back after a few years, you're like, man, I missed so much. And it's like, was it worth it? Or should I have been there? Should I have been
yeah.
there, been present more instead of working?
Well, yeah,
I don't know, man, but I'll take it. I appreciate it. I would say that I've always put them first. I was actually having a conversation with a friend of mine about what Mo. Sorry, I don't know why I said it that way. Mo. Um, I was like, I can't see past like my future. I cannot see past
mhm,
my daughter graduating high school. I don't know what it means for me. I don't know how else to explain it. Like with work and stuff, like, hey, this is what this is gonna be. But like personally, it's like it's like a wall. So it's like once I hit it, I don't know. I don't know what
yeah,
that's gonna mean because it's been my focus for 20 years. Because my son and then now baby girls too. So for 20
get
years,
you
I've
to
had
this
one
point.
direction focus.
Yeah,
Get them through and set up to succeed and launch off
yeah,
into. I mean, it's not
well,
like I'm done, but like they're no longer children and they are launched into their own career with the safest, most prepared possible human being I could possibly try to create. And it's like now that it's come, bro. 13 months,
it's
bro.
coming
It's
fast, man.
it's
It's coming
coming
up
up
fast.
close.
Coming
I
up
don't know
fast. Well,
what
I
it
can't
looks
say
like.
to speak, I guess, to the other side. I just had an interesting, well, not interesting, but I just had a conversation with my mom a few days ago, and for as much as we all my parents, my parents were kind of text back and forth, and obviously probably I could probably go visit them more often, but obviously they at this point, and then 38. So at this point, they understand that like I'm also doing my own thing. And I told them I was like, I think they tell me more now, and I think it's more satisfactory now than it would have been at 22 or 25 or whatever. And they're like, you know what? We're proud of you. Like, we did our best, and we tried to set you up, and we're proud of what and who you become. And I'm just like, yeah, I don't know. I didn't know that would hit me the way that it hit me at the time. I was like, kind of a little emotional. It's like, okay, I think we always kind of long for the approval of our parents, and it's like in whatever shape or form that is, and it's like for some reason it kind of took some sort of like a weight off my shoulders a little bit. I'm just like, okay, like God, we get some validation. I'm not that fucking up, because by societal standards, like not married yet, no kids yet, again, not for lack of trying, you know what I mean, um, but to kind of be in a different place than, like you said, I thought I was going to be at a certain point, like getting beyond that, and then like, oh, kind of shit, like I'm out here in uncharted waters, and it's just me, and I had to gotta figure it out. But I think as as parents are listening to them talk or listening when you talk, I think that's all that you can actually really do. It's like I can give you everything that I can give you, and you know this is all I got. You're gonna have to make do with the rest. But again, that goes without saying. We had to do the same thing. You know what I mean? Like we had like at a certain point, like it's on you. You got to go out there and get your own shit.
What I'll tell you is wild to think about. Think about right now, bro. Think about how you feel, just as your own person. When you have kids, they think that you know everything and that you are so locked in and squared away. Like you are their whole world. Everything they see is through you. It, again, I had kids young, but now I'm older. I'm like,
I
damn, I
know
was fucked up back. I get like to realize that. I'm like, yo, I was barely hanging on by a thread trying to just scrap.
that's funny, bro. That's funny. It's
No,
funny that you
it's a
say that.
wild
Now
thought, man.
I remember it. I literally think that thought all the time. Right? Something comes up like with your taxes or like all this major shit that comes up. Right? And I remember being probably like in
Yeah.
high school, maybe like junior, senior life when you realize like, oh, I'm gonna have to like do this at some point, like later on, like my parents aren't gonna always do this for me. I
Yeah.
remember asking questions and being like, how does this actually work? Because this seems like a lot. You know what I mean? Like I think probably after I started working and making my own money. And I'm like, wait a minute, I know what I'm making with my little check. And I'm like, how are we surviving out here? I'm like, I'm supposed to survive off of, damn, if it was just me, this wouldn't cut it. You know what I mean? So I'm just like, yes. So the thought has come full circle of like realizing like everybody's out here kind of just
Yeah, man.
figuring it out as they go, which is crazy. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you try to teach the next
Yeah.
one, like you barely figured it out. Shit. Fucking Alec hit me up. He's like, I gotta do taxes,
Well,
right? I was like, yeah, you do. And he's like, well, I haven't got any of my W-2s yet. And I'm like, how do I get that? And I'm like,
from the military, I
shit,
don't
I
know.
don't know. Shit, I don't know. I
They get
said,
to figure it out
let's figure it
together. I
out
don't know.
together. So I'm 41, and I'm like, shit, I don't
That's
know
good.
either.
Shit, man.
Good question, sir. I don't know. I don't know how you do that. But he actually, you said it about you looking at your check because
Exactly.
he's making his own money now. It's like he's like, Dad, I don't understand, man. I'm making all
Go
this
away.
money, but it just how did you do it? I'm like, same thing. All my money went to you guys.
Figuring it out, bro. Sometimes we barely make it.
I was like, hey, you don't spend money on yourself anymore. Listen, listen, bro. There's times when I was like, you hope a check didn't
Listen,
hit when it
bro.
was supposed to.
Listen. That's stress.
there's a problem with
Yeah,
my
exactly.
checking and my
So
savings, and
yeah, yes, bro,
truer
stress,
words, bro,
bro.
truer
God dang.
words.
Like I said, just very, very fortunate now. I'm very blessed now. It will be so limited, but at the same time, remember them days, boy, this early on, like I'm risking my life for this.
Yeah,
I saw fucking I saw a meme the other day. He's like he's looking at his check. He's like he's like the way my check works. He's like I understand when people do fraud now. I'm like I get it,
yes.
bro. I can't be mad at the sentiment, but I understand. I get it, but it's hard out here, bro. It's tough.
You know, you just saw because I did an episode with Mo and Frank for Street Tales, bro. One, Frank is amazing, bro, but he said something that made it like he just he's like a Shiro, bro. He just drops those knowledge bombs. You're like, damn. He just has these sayings, but he said something because he was like, how he goes. I know a lot of people never thought they were going to be in law enforcement or whatever, but he goes, I knew from the time I was a young child that I wanted to be in law enforcement because those were the heroes. Those were the ones everybody looked to for the answers. And he goes, and I wanted to learn how to be that guy. And he goes, so I graduated high school and I went straight to the Air Force. And I was a cop in the Air Force because I was like, and he goes, in my head, I wanted to, this is going to look good on my resume so I can go back and be a cop. And bro, like he said, he basically maintained that thought process, 30-year career in law enforcement.
Yeah,
And we didn't get into it, but I'm like, yeah, that's changed, bro. People fucking hate cops and they think they're all pieces of shit. And I was like, and they're out here doing it for pennies on the dollar. Like you ain't
listen,
getting
yeah,
rich
boy.
being a cop. It's not
And
a
I
thing.
yes, that sentiment. Something my recruiter told me. Detective Huggins told me that. She's like one. She's like obviously it's a dangerous job. You know what you're getting into. Like I don't have to explain that to you. She's like, but she's like, I will tell you this. She's like, you may
Sure.
not ever get rich being a cop. She's like, but you do it right, you'll never be broke. I'm like,
There you
yeah, I
go.
got to
I
tell
like
you,
that.
if you
Yeah,
do it, you set
retirement.
yourself up right, you'll never be broke. You'll be very well off once you're done. And it's always kind of stuck in the back of my noggin. And I'm like, okay, yeah. I'm like every year I'm like, you know what? I tell myself this is the least amount of money that I will be making going forward. And every year kind of just, you know, it just moves along, it bumps up, it takes on. And then, but what she said is definitely held true. I don't got the dream runs yet, but trust me, I'm doing just fine. We're doing okay. We're doing all right. Doing all right.
All right. Yeah, bro. The other thing we talked about, which seems to be a running theme now, not that I necessarily meant it to be that way, but we talked about mental health, but he had a different angle because, bro, I didn't know this shit about Frank, bro.
Yeah.
He was in CPID back when the sheriff's office ran CPID, Child Protective Services. He was a homicide detective, or well, he was a supervisor of homicide. Let's phrase it that way. He said he was never a homicide detective, but whatever. And bro, he was still telling stories now about you know murders that he saw and like the completely innocent that would get murdered, just wrong place, wrong time, and get murdered. He goes, and then you got to go tell their wife, their husband, their parents that their person is dead. He goes, yeah, he was starting to get choked up, bro. And
That's
he's
it.
like, that was 20
Bro,
years
I
ago.
was having a similar conversation with somebody trying to explain it. I said, one of the, in this line of work, there's a whole bunch of crazy shit that you the wrong possibility of seeing, right? But it's a possibility. A lot of things are a possibility. I said, but the the one biggest thing that nobody can prepare you for, that there is no manual for, there's no whatever. I hate doing them. Death notifications. You never know, bro. You
You never know
never
how
you
people
never
gonna act,
know.
man.
I mean, I've been on some where it's like you can just see the like a weight lifted off their shoulder, like they've been expecting bad news for a long time. Whether it's like, oh, so I can tell you that your loved one passed away, they had an overdose. I don't know, like kind of like like they're almost relieved because they're done suffering. I don't want them to continue suffering and stuff like that. But then you can see like the opposite where they're just completely calm, bro. And it's like I don't know what to say. You always feel awkward of like, it's sad to kind of like witness. And then you're like, kind of like, not like a third wheel, but like, I don't know what to say to like, I know there's nothing that I can't say or do to like relieve the pain or relieve what's happening to you at the moment, other than just kind of like just being here for a second and trying to help you navigate in the short amount of time. Like, hey, do you have someone who can call up and be with you? Do you have things set up? Like, some of these questions where they're not thinking it at the moment. And obviously without being insensitive, like, hey, do you have
Yeah.
like a funeral home? Do you have like any of this kind of stuff? And most of it's dope. Like I'm usually like, hey, like I know you need to take a minute. I'll be outside for like the next 15, 20 minutes because I know you might have some questions. I'll just I'll be right out here. If you have a question, I'll be outside. I don't want to I don't want to interject on your moment or whatever, or be insensitive or be rude or be callous. I want to be empathetic to what you're feeling. But there's no manual for that, bro. And and it's tough to kind of like, and you can't even like explain it. Like you can't convey that feeling even in the conversation. Like, oh man, this was tough today. I had to go tell this person that the lower passed away. Well, yeah, but yeah, it's hard to kind of like it's hard to articulate the emotion behind that because it's like being there. And it's like I should take a toll on it after a while. I'm like, every time I get one of those, bro, it's like, I'm like, damn, like I try to get as much information as I can. I try to answer as many questions as I can. Rush that's tough. But there's no, like I said, there's
Yeah.
no.
Yeah. Well, and I'm not trying to make this another Street Tales podcast, but we did several episodes. We still got a couple more on mental health stuff. But my dad, his wife works at dispatch, and so I like the way they do it. It's a small town, but they just had a deputy commit suicide a couple days ago. And prior to that, but anytime they hear a death or like a dispatcher take like 911, what's going on? I'm fighting with my girlfriend. Pow! Oh my gosh, she just shot herself in the head. It's like, yo, Jesus. They make them go to 3 visits to see a psychiatrist. They're like, nothing's wrong with you, good, bad, whatever. And guess what? If you want to continue, they'll pay. They're like, hey, it's paid
Yeah,
for. You don't talk to them because that shit's fucked up. You need to talk to somebody. If you only need 3 and you're good, then you're good. I mean, that's fine too. And I'm like, see,
yeah.
that's the kind of shit we need to get on. But bro, I'm trying not to take away from it because I fucking love it. But I got to tell you, just because I got you here. But I think you should be on it. We're gonna do a negotiator one. Talk about that because I had like pages of notes. I was like, I'm trying to keep it on topic, but I'm like, yo, I got questions. He was talking about Skyway Bridge. Dude had beaten his son
God
so
damn.
bad he blinded his son. So with the level of guilt the dad had, he poured acid in his eyes to try to blind himself. Didn't work. It was up on the Skyway with a gun about to jump off. And Frank talked his ass down after 4 hours. I was like, and the dude got
That's a trip.
sentenced to like 20
But I
years.
mean, but that's
Well, I had to shut up, but I'm like,
no,
it's
that's
amazing that
crazy,
you
bro.
didn't
That's
jump, bro.
I know it sounds insensitive to say, but like dealing with people doing that, and we've been on the call about, and I know I've had probably, well, I won't say I've said this, but I'm sure I've had this, maybe conveyed this with my attitude at some point. Be like, hey man, like if you really wanted to do what you're thinking about doing or currently not doing, you would have done it already. I was like, clearly you want some attention and you want to be talk, so let's talk.
But we were the one. It was in the box. The Hispanic dude whose girlfriend was in a wheelchair. Did I tell you
Like,
about this one?
not ringing the bell yet.
So he's out running around the little
Mm-hmm.
neighborhood with a steak knife, screaming and hollering. I pull up, and as soon as I pull up, he looks at
I
me and
remember this.
goes,
Yes,
"Yeah," right in his neck,
yes,
married
I
to the
remember
hilt.
this. Yep.
I was like, "Dang!" So I had to focus on that. In the meantime, I got all these people just running around. We get him cleared away. He goes to the hospital. I'm trying to like, yo, what the fuck is going on? This lady comes rolling up in a wheelchair with a baby, like an infant. I'm like, oh my god, what is happening? She's like, that's my baby daddy. And I was like, okay, what's happening? Her sister comes out and starts getting in my face. I was like, man, you better back up. I'll get to the sister's like, he was having sex with her other daughter who's 16. He's a pedophile. Da 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 da. The 16-year-old comes out and she goes, shut the fuck up. You just mad because he's fucking me instead of
What?
you. I was like, wait, he's he's having sex with all three of them? Like, what is going on here? I was like, then why didn't he just stab himself in the neck?
Stress, bro.
What is happening? Now, the cynical side of me said, bro, I would have too, bro. I need to get out of that. What is going on, bro?
Yeah. But then you're like, oh, wait, 16? Wait a second.
So,
Oh, no, no.
yeah. Well, long story short, he did nothing. It was like he had a couple, he didn't hit one vital in his neck. And he got charged for rape, or, sexual minor. Sorry, not rape,
Yeah,
sexual
there's
minor. There is a difference, but I was like, yo, god damn, bro, shit. Some people put themselves in spots. I'm like,
bro.
yo, what are you doing?
So no, man. You gotta be going through the shit, bro. You gotta be. To be on some shit like that.
So we were going to talk about mental health, but I wanted to change gears on law enforcement and all that, and talk about like mental health in general and the coddling of, well, America. And let me just say, let me explain where I come from. This is where I was with the Secret Service. I was with Harris on the Africa swing. I think we were in Zambia because we had Ghana,
Glasses?
Zambia, Tanzania. I think I was in Zambia. World famous, bro. Famous in Zambia. Don't worry about it. If you don't know, look up Zambia reports. It is Zambia. Bam, because Zambia reports, baby. They thought I got X-ray sunglasses on. I was like, hell no. Nah. Anyway, this reporter just kept harassing the shit out of the president of Zambia about LGBTQ, and because I think he had made some like, hey, there's no gay people in Zambia. Some random shit. Like, yeah, I don't know. I think Putin said there's no gay people in Russia. I was like, oh, okay. Again, whatever their stance is. But she was relentless, bro. He finally goes, ma'am, with all due respect, we have bigger problems than whatever it is you're talking about. My people don't eat. We don't have roads. We don't have power. We don't have clean drinking water. He goes, so once we address those issues, then we'll think
Yeah.
about whatever it is you're talking about. Can we please move on? Yeah. And I said, you know what? That is the truest
Yeah,
statement I've ever heard.
bro.
That's some first
100%,
world
bro.
problem shit. Only in a first world problem where you ain't got to worry about a motherfucking thing can you be like, oh, I'm 78, whatever genders and anxiety. I need all these accommodations. It's like, go pull that shit in Ghana. They might eat once a day and they're happy to
I think the
do it.
first world problem thing is they kind of hit the nail on the head. It's like when you have the ability to wake up and worry about how you feel, like mentally for that day, well, we are very, very
Yeah,
fortunate and lucky to worry about.
yeah,
This is what it's been. Really, that is a luxury.
yeah. Bro, America, bro, I'm oppressed, bro. Let me talk to you while I'm on my Mac with my iPhone and I'm drinking my beer. I'm oppressed. Bro, take a time out, bro. Just take a hard time out, bro. There is real oppression, bro. I've seen it with my eyeballs.
Yeah, bro. It's
I think your camera's frozen, bro. You're locked up. They caught you the unflattering angle. Bro, what's going on?
uh,
They
uh,
caught up yet?
I can hear you, but you froze a little bit. Tyler,
Bro, got your lips all closed, your eyes up, but
can you at least hear me?
good. I can hear you,
Just
bro.
rocking
So
out,
we just
man. We're stuck.
rocking.
We're stuck. Hey, we're stuck. What up? Um, but
Hey,
even with
shit happens, I
the
guess.
I agree. Even with I think we've got to a point where, in general, I think we're worried about how we feel, the mental health stuff. I think some of that stuff is valid, right? But to a point. And then we've worried so much about identifying certain stuff that we've kind of like we've gotten to a place where we're kind of just like coddling uh ourselves and not necessarily addressing or taking accountability for one, how we got here, or one, how we're going to fix it. Right. It's one thing to be like, I have, anxious attachment, or I've got, depressive syndrome or whatever. That we put this way. Like, we've all gone through shit. We all have hard times, and everybody's got something that they struggle with. Everybody's got a struggle. So I don't like the area that way where we're kind of just like coddling ourselves. And I think, to me, it's just subverting accountability from actually having to do some sort of like some work on yourself. Right? It's like, yeah, you can't do the work until you identify a problem. But once you identify the problem, you still got to do the fucking work. Like, I think we've used it as like we've used some of these things as a justification to be like, oh, that's just how I am, or whatever,
Well, let me say this: in all my world travels, whatever I was in Africa, India, Asia, all these other countries, and even at the UN where they all come here, I never met one person that was from a non-first world, let's just say that, power in China, Russia, Europe, America, Canada. I never met one of them that talked about their anxiety, their stress even. They were always just so happy that whatever was going on, they were part of it. I think it gives you an appreciation of life. And let me say this, and I do it often, but I'm gonna steal this from Rogan because people hammer him about the trans thing, and he's like, he goes, I can't even begin to understand. He goes, I could not, and I agree with him wholeheartedly. I think he summarized it there. He goes, I could not imagine what it would be like to wake up feeling like you were in the wrong body, in the wrong skin. Like, the torment that you must go through. Unbelievable. Like, I couldn't imagine. So I'm gonna finish my train of thought. So anyway, the trans thing. Recap it. So Rogo just was like, I can't even begin to think about how awful that would be
Yeah.
to feel like you're growing up in the wrong body. And the torment, I mean, that must be unbearable. I agree with that. But you'd also be foolish to think that that same platform would be hijacked by people who just want to use it for whatever nefarious reasons they have. So there needs to be some sort of discretion. And that's why, like, the whole anything where they're like, you have to believe me because I say so. No. And
Yeah,
listen, I don't care
I
what you
can't
talk
go on that
about.
same logic
Hey,
because
don't do that to me.
it's not serious. They say, oh, I feel like this, so you have to
Hell
adjust me.
no,
It's like,
bro.
okay,
Hell.
okay. But we'll even take it to the gender shit. I, you have to tell me I'm a good person, no matter what. I say I'm a good person, so that means I'm a good person, no matter what. Like,
I feel like I am, so you have to.
as the girly pop say, now you're
But I don't
gaslighting
know
me.
you.
I'm like, I'm like cap. It's like, like cap.
Yeah, bro,
Absolutely
that's
not.
bad.
So, and I, along that same sentiment, but I think it's difficult for people who are not dealing with that same issue, right? To even feel good. I think it's difficult for anybody to feel comfortable in their own skin. I think I think that is the biggest. I think that's the biggest, not probably not the biggest thing that is afflicting our society, right? But I think that is a big undertone of the things that happen in society. Is that I think people don't actually, one, like themselves, two, feel comfortable in their own skin enough to be who they are. And that's something that I've been personally thinking about probably like the last year or so. I'm like, how can I expect other people to like me or feel comfortable around me or whatever? 'Cause I don't feel that way about myself. Right. So it's like you got to be to the point where, do the fucking work to be comfortable in your own skin and like yourself. It's like I can't hold you to a higher standard than I hold myself. And I think when I heard somebody say this before, I was like, damn, that makes fucking sense. It's like a lot of people don't have the lack self confidence is because they don't keep they don't keep their own promises to themselves. Well,
Well, I'll say this, bro. There's a concept that says ignorance is bliss, and I think it gets battered around and misused a lot. But you know, go back a couple hundred years, the height of
mhm,
your manhood, womanhood, personhood was to work lands, to have a family, children,
Yeah.
and to do the best you can.
Yeah.
That was about it. Really survive, right? Real survive. But now you have access to so much information, and you can see how all these other people live, and you can't help it. You can't help it. You try not to compare yourself to other people because you don't know anything. You don't know what their struggles were. I've met many people who are extraordinarily wealthy, powerful, and I'm like, I would not want this life. You couldn't pay me enough to want this life because
Terrible.
it seems, to me, it seems miserable. Because just because you like certain aspects of your life, you're not getting the full picture, man. You're not getting the full scope. And especially with social media, people don't put their negative, nasty, bad
Well, see, in
days
the
shit on
highlight,
there. They
baby.
don't do that. You always see them at their
Yeah.
best. Yes, lighting, filter. I mean, shit, bro. I mean, when I was traveling around the world, I could have made it seem like, yo, I'm just this world traveler living my best life. I was fucking exhausted, and I miss my kids. You know what I mean? But like, I could have taken pictures of like, hey, wow, he must really be doing. He's just doing big things. I wish I could be like that guy. Like, bro, you have no idea what I'm dealing with. And it's a
Mhm.
very like high level, I guess, mature way to think. Um, I don't know how you teach kids because it doesn't matter what the fuck I say to my son or my daughter, they don't see it that way. They just don't see it that way. I will say, finally, after years of trying to explain to my son because he loved
Mhm.
video games, and I used to tell him, son, I like video games too. But at some point, you got to put it down and go work. You got other responsibilities. He's like, I don't have any other responsibilities. I'm like, yeah, but you should. And also, I was like, you're playing all these war games. You just hit
The life,
reset,
baby.
restart, or you spawn. I was like, that's not real life, man. You get shot, you're dead, bro. It don't work that way. So, but anyway, he's a Marine now, and he's like, yo, that shit is. He's like, because he used to fuck around with his players and make them squad stand and do all stuff. He's like, he's like, I try to actually play now, like how I would actually do it. He goes, yeah, it's a lot harder. I'm like,
A lot of
correct,
games.
buddy.
A lot of games,
Real
bro. I
life
feel
is
like
not a
game.
video. It doesn't work that way. Also the amount of energy, effort, like the practice, the PT, the shooting, like all the stuff that goes into the concept of strategy. Like there's so much that goes into it. It's not just I want a war. Nah, bro, it don't work that way. So anyway, I will say he's slowly getting his eyes open, but I mean, there was probably at least 5, 6 years of fucking frustrated headaches. Like, what could I possibly do
Yeah.
to explain to
Yeah.
him
I
that this is
mean,
not how life works? It's not
well, I
like
guess
the
two things. One, I learned a long time ago. Somebody told me this. It was like one of the best qualities or best attributes that you can gain, and the sooner you gain this ability, the better, is to learn from other people's mistakes. Right? It's like,
you know what?
yeah.
I'm going to piggyback on that and correct myself. I think
Mhm.
the
Yeah.
biggest name that
I know you
stands
got
out to
this.
me is Mike Tyson. What I'm trying to say, because I mean, I think I know
Mhm.
Mike Tyson more now than I did when he was at the height of his fame. But I can't remember what show he was on. He was like, they were like, "Yo, you were the heavyweight champ of the world. You were king of the world, and you went to jail for 3 years." He was like, "That must have been awful." He's like, "Nope, it was the best time I had. I needed it. It was the most peaceful I've ever had." Everybody in the room was like, "Yo, what, bro?" And he goes, my world focused and my life became a lot simpler. And he goes, and I realized then what was important.
Right.
It
Yeah.
changed his whole world, man.
Fucking.
Now listen, I ain't trying to go to jail, bro. I ain't here. I ain't trying to get Fleece Johnson, bro. Hell no, hell no. But but
Yeah.
again,
What's
like
the
how
thing?
old is he? 50 years old, or almost 60, whatever. But
Nah.
he wasn't
Nah. A
saying
lot
that
of shit
shit when he was
comes
19,
with
20.
and I don't even like to say getting older anymore because it makes me I think it has some negativity to it. And I just say as I progress through life more, I pick up more stuff, I learn more things, and I'm always kind of getting better and learning more shit about life and about myself. And well, I think there's a lot of truth in cliches, and like they exist for a reason, right? So it's like one comparison is the thief of all joy. Because bro, that is one thing I've learned. Let's say over the past couple of
Bro,
years, I'm like, basically we talk about the social media thing. It's like you are comparing your failures and your worst moments to other people's highlights. You will never that will never add up. That will never add up. And like you don't yeah you don't know
and also
you don't know the
you
low
don't know
points.
what
You don't
that
know
moment even
what they had to
entails.
do
You
to get
don't
that.
know.
What they had to do to get there. I promise you. And I'm like, exactly. I try to
And you
be
don't know what it was like after when they went home.
as transparent as people. But it's I try not to portray things. Even with my social media, I try not to portray things in the light that is disingenuous, right? Um, and I'm usually pretty open, pretty vocal about the mental health stuff or whatever. But like some days, though, that shit is a struggle. And I never like to make it seem like it's not, or like I got it all figured out. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes it's like sometimes I think there's probably a couple people that have actually physically seen it. But there's been days when I could like barely get out of the bed because I'm just getting so much fucking pain with between my shoulder, my knee, my back. Some days like, well, I'm struggling, but you finally you muster enough to go get a workout in, or like, oh man, I see, hey, you just had surgery. I just saw you dancing around on Instagram, blah blah blah. And I was like, bro, what you saw was a moment in time. You saw 13 seconds out of however many
Yeah,
seconds are in a day. That's all you because that's all that I was one of the women.
yeah,
That's all that I put out there. I was like, you didn't see the other the other however many seconds throughout the day. You didn't see that took me fucking almost 45 minutes just to be able to get going to get to that point. Like, you didn't see that. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm not trying to make it seem like it's more like I'm doing more than what anybody else could be doing or could possibly doing, or make it seem like what I'm going through is more important or more grandiose than anybody else. It's like we all got our own shit. You know what I mean? It's like, but the difference is that I'm not trying to make it be more than what it is. It's like some things are very simple, and I think most of our life is very simple, right? It's like, hey, I've identified a problem, so okay, what are you gonna do now? And but that's how I approach every difficulty in my life. And I heard this the other day, and I kind of like, damn, I'm gonna stick to this notion of when you come to adversity and difficulty gives you the opportunity to prove you are who you say you are. Because anybody can be. It's easy to be this and this and this when everything's going well. But what happens when it doesn't go right? When it doesn't go in your favor, whatever. So that's when you can tell who's got what or who got shit. When shit doesn't, when shit kicks off, now we'll see. Now we'll figure it. You know. So I just it the cliches fucking they're there, and a lot of our life is based in cliches, and it's weird how I would say like maybe in my younger days I'd be like, oh, that shit don't apply to me. I'm like, oh, not me, whatever. And I'm like, again, as you progress through life, it's like, I understand that now. I get it now. Okay, that's all right. Yep.
yeah.
Okay, got me. It's fucking got me.
Fair enough, bro. Hey, brother, we're coming up on time, so
Yeah, man,
maybe
that's about it, bro. Let's get off.
wrap this up,
So,
baby. Wrap us up.
oh, pleasure, bro. We have to get this thing up. We'll be. Then we're both traveling next week, so we gotta. Uh, yeah,
The next
yeah.
next,
I'll be
next couple
traveling. I'll
might
be
be
traveling
audio
on
because
on
I'll be
next week.
traveling for
So,
the next couple weeks. So.
we'll get it, then, bro. Always a pleasure. Always good to see your face, pause, even though we talk all the time. But a pleasure, my boy. Okay. All right. Later.
Always a pleasure, brother. All right, man. I'll catch you on the next one.